Hey guys, and welcome back. We are going to watch RWBY World of Remnant, starting with Vale. As far as I'm concerned, I can watch every single one. For now, I'll watch only the Kingdoms, and then I will look again to make sure. I know that I can watch the Kingdoms, but the rest, I'm not sure, but we will see. If this video is like, I don't know, over 20 minutes, you know that I watched every single one, so yeah, let's go. Or I have a lot to theorize in these. Who knows? But we will find out. So, starting with Vale. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Vale.
Well, school's definitely out. Let's see if we can't all learn a little something.
Now that Oswin is
Welcome to
gone,
the World of Remnant.
he has to
Not
do
the
it.
best place to live, but depending on where you're staying, it can get a little easier.
Okay.
You've got towns and villages that pop up as fast as they fall. The faunas have menagerie, but the sweet spots are Vale, Mistral,
Faunas.
Atlas, and Vacuo, the four kingdoms of the modern era. And each one's special in its own little way. Let's talk about Vale. In the grand scheme of things, Vale's pretty well guarded. It rests on the northeastern end of the world's largest continent, Sunus. Like most successful kingdoms, Vale's survival over the years can mostly be attributed to prime real estate. Its front is protected by steep mountains, and its back is against waters too shallow for any real threat to pop out of. Not to say I haven't heard some crazy fish stories. Aside from the main city, which the
Fish
kingdom's
Grim
named after,
will come.
Vale territory also extends to several neighboring cities farther along the northwest coastline, as well as a small island named Patch. Nice place to raise a family, if you're into that sort of thing. Of course, all attempts to extend the kingdom's reach past the mountains and farther into the mainland have been colossal failures.
Yeah.
But, like I said, in the grand scheme of things, Vale ain't half bad. Regular climate, natural barriers, and some serious border defenses means the citizens of Vale can spend less time worrying about survival and more time just living their lives.
Cool.
Of course, with the fall of Beacon, everyone's a little more worried these days.
Yeah.
And they should be.
Damn it. Okay. The number one thing I gathered from this is that I have to turn on subtitles because I did not catch a single name of any village or continent or whatsoever. Because, I don't know, maybe the music was too loud or I'm just stupid or something. So, okay. Bottom right corner's menagerie. Menagerie. That's where the faunas are. Okay. Vale in the middle. Right is Mistral, Atlas, and Vacuo is left. And the Dragonlands still not explained what that is. I really wonder what that could be. My theory was that the villains are there, but I'm not sure if we ever see our guys going there or anything related to anything. So there has to be something. Something has to be there. There's no kingdom, but we have seen in a previous World of Remnant that there are signal towers, so they have been there before. And, well, maybe they are not intact anymore, who knows. We can see that the bottom, or let's just say the top half, seems to be covered in mountains, maybe. You know? That gets steeper and steeper. Or not necessarily steeper, because the steeper the whiter the mountain is, it is more black. That's why my theory stands now that the villains are there, because we saw the environment that was like black, red, dark shade, some dark shade land, you know. And this could be the same. So if we don't know, if you don't know, and well, I have no idea either. There's a hair on my lens, so I have no clue where they could be, where it would be strategically beneficial for the villains to be. Probably on this side of the continent, because you have somewhat a connection to everything. One wing leads to Atlas, the tail leads to the continent Sarnes, and you can also go to Vacuo, so you can go everywhere except, well, Mistral, but you can go to the main kingdoms, to 3 of the main kingdoms pretty easily. So maybe they are really there. But yeah, other than that, I think we saw the town of Mount Glen. I'm now not sure how it's called, but I think we saw that. And where they said, yeah, expanding the kingdom was a failure. So yeah, that's all I would say to this. And I'd say we go to the next one, Mistral. The wind blows.
Right. Where were we? The east of Sanus is Remnant's
Oh yeah, and
landmass.
the fact... Oh, okay, I'll say it later.
Kingdom of Mistral. Of the 4 kingdoms, Mistral has the most controlled territory, meaning you'll find a wider variety of ecosystems and lifestyles. Trust me, this place is something for everyone, for better or worse. The high society folks of Mistral are known worldwide for their contributions to fashion, architecture, theater, all the things that make the world pretty and tolerable. But its lower class has got a fame of its own. Mistral's home to the biggest black market on the planet. Need something that's hard to find? Got someone that's hard to kill? They can help, provided you've got the end to pay for it. There's one common thread that links all these people together, though, and that's their respect for nature, particularly the sea and the sky. The natural resources and geography of the area impacted Mistral's culture and technology in a big way. Its first settlers found shelter high up in the wind-carved cliffs, and as their population grew, so did their ability to utilize the land to its fullest potential. A real bunch of forward thinkers. Of course, the bigger the kingdom, the harder
In the
it is
cliffs?
to govern. There's a reason traders and thieves flock to Mistral. The main city's right under the council's eye, sure, but places like Windpath and Kuchinashi start to get a little farther out of sight. There's plenty of places to hide in Mistral. That's why you gotta know where to look.
I feel like the subtitles distracted me just more. So wait a second. Okay. So seems to me like they are very rich in culture. Pretty cool. Right under the eyes of the council. So is the council set in the main city there, perhaps? And I just noticed that the right end of this, of Anima, the continent was, I think, called, looks also like the shade of the land that we saw. You know, from the enemy, from the villains. Which team? Team Witch, maybe they were called. Looks also like the shade of this land, so who knows where they are. If they are right under the eye of the council, that would be a nice place to hide, I guess. So yeah, again, very rich in culture. Looks like a fun land, you know, on the first look. Hard to govern. I assume this is the case because the Farners were discriminated, and when the Farners also originated here on this bottom right island that I know, Margarine or something. It's not called that way, Margarine, I think. And they had villages here too in Anima on the bottom side. So I think there's a lot of chaos if you consider the low class society, that the traders and thieves go there, and you know, the Farners discrimination problem and all that. This place seems like a very chaotic one. So this could also support the theory why it is easy to hide for the enemies here on the right side, perhaps, if they are there. You know, could be. But other than that, I have nothing else to say, so let's go to Atlas.
I suppose it's time we talk.
Forgot again to talk about something.
Top of the world.
Fine people.
Atlas is Remnant's youngest and arguably most successful kingdom, but it's a bit of a special case. See, before the Great War, there was no Atlas. There was Mantle. At some point in time, a group of settlers were crazy enough to venture out into the northernmost continent of Solitas. I guess when you're that desperate, a frozen hunk of rock doesn't seem like such a bad place to call home. As a matter of fact, the harsh weather conditions proved to be just as useful as the mountain ranges when it came to keeping the creatures of Grim at bay. It also kept the people of Mantle from flourishing. Humanity's got a neat trick up its sleeve, though. Whenever we're faced
Underground.
with a problem, our inclination is to find a solution.
Oh.
The cold climate of Solitas forced its settlers to adapt. They developed a more advanced technology, and they did it faster than the rest of the world. Because they had to survive. But it was the Great War that really kicked things off.
Mm-hmm.
New forms of
Weapons.
dust application and weaponry allowed Mantle to expand. More and more territory was set aside for dust mining and research. The territory beside the kingdom's combat school, Alcius, was the most opportune area to construct a new R&D facility. But by the time things were all said and done, it would be much, much more. Alcius was reopened as Atlas after the Great War to house many of the warriors now seeking guidance in an effort to give back to the citizens. Mantle applied all sorts of new dust techniques and technologies it had used in the war to beef up the Academy's campus. The school grounds expanded faster than they could have imagined, and even helped to better secure the surrounding areas. It wasn't long before the kingdom's military moved in, then the labs and research facilities. Eventually, even residential areas started popping up. In time, it became apparent that the city of Mantle was living in Atlas' shadow. So the decision was made to move the kingdom's capital. Mantle was old news, and the kingdom of Atlas was born. A golden age of prosperity, they called it. But those left behind in Mantle would probably tell you that it was the coldest winter they ever knew.
Interesting. Alright. Now I know why it is the defunct kingdom of Mantle. Because they moved on to Atlas. And they kinda found heat dust crystals under the ground constructed a heating system to live in their houses, and fast deployed to make weapons for the Great War, I assume. I wonder when the Great War was. That's a question. I don't think I know when it was, or if I do, then I forgot. Let me know. If I forgot, then let me know in the comments. If I shouldn't know yet, then don't let me know. So they have constructed a school, called it Atlas, and then they said the kingdom's military moved in, then the labs and research facilities. Now the thing is, I also don't know. I think the father of Weiss married into the Schnee family. I think. And we see here Ironwood and him. So is the Great War really not that long ago? Was Ironwood part of it? And the father of Weiss, Jacques, or however he is pronounced, were they part of the Great War? And by that, Ospen was part of the Great War, no matter what, in some way. Well, he was around, maybe not part. I mean, nobody really should know how old he really is. So I don't think he was actively part of the war. Maybe, or well, if Ironwood was, then probably he was as well. Shouldn't be that long ago then. I don't know how long it took to make the school and all that. Or maybe I misunderstood something, maybe about the Great War now, but after the Great War they made the school, LCS. And or R&D facility. Maybe, who knows. But was maybe Weiss's father part of the military, or was he part of the labs and research facilities, or something? Because the kingdom's military moved in, then the labs and research, and he is there as well. So I wonder, maybe we know this already and I forgot, and now I'm again re-experiencing it. Could be the case. I am actually quite forgetful. Somehow I remembered many things though so far, so yeah. And they left behind Mantle. I wonder. It's a little bit harsh, but we don't know anything really regarding that. Was it just they left them behind? I wonder why. That seems a little bit cruel without a reason to just say, okay, well, here you can live there, do your own thing, we move on. And that's that. And they don't have the luxury to move, really. So, interesting when it comes to Atlas. It wouldn't surprise me if this was somewhat a decision of Jacques to move away from Mantle, because it is more profitable probably to go to Atlas, and he seems to be a person to me who would do that. So maybe that's the case here. I don't know. A little bit hard to come up with theories right now for me. Well, there's a very little information, So maybe I'm doing fine when you consider that, but I feel like I could do more. But who cares? Let's go to Vacuo.
If there's one kingdom that's had it harder than the people of Mantle, it's Vacuo, the last of the four great kingdoms.
Vacuo.
The western end of Sanus is a barren and desolate wasteland. Long ago, before man went and ruined everything, it was a paradise. In the center of the vast desert was an oasis unlike anything you'd ever seen. A jungle bursting with natural resources, geographical defenses, and the world's largest recorded deposit of dust. Nomads that survived the journey across the scorching sands settled down in this little hidden gem, and over time the kingdom of Vacuo thrived. Unfortunately, comfort breeds weakness.
That's
While the rest
true.
of Remnant had to learn and adapt in order to survive, Vacuo's ancient society kicked back and lived a life of complacency. But when other, more developed kingdoms set their eyes on everything Vacuo had to offer, its citizens couldn't do anything to stop them from taking
Atlas. And everyone else.
Years of human conflict, unrestricted mining, and ecological disasters have changed Vacuo. The paradise that was once there is practically
Schneedust Company.
indistinguishable from the surrounding deserts. Citizens live in makeshift homes, uprooting and traveling frequently in response to the fleeting resources and occasional attacks from the creatures of Grimm. After the Great
Horrible.
War, a formal government was finally established. But by that point, the folks living in Vacuo didn't much care to uphold its laws, making Shade Academy the only real source of order in the kingdom. But order isn't everything. Vacuo may not be as prim and proper as the other three kingdoms, but it's still standing. And the people there have a mutual respect for one another. See, there's really only one unspoken rule in Vacuo. If you can survive here, then you're welcome here. So, there you have it. Vale, Mistral, Atlas, and Vacuo. You know, Oz would always say that the four kingdoms were a representation of what mankind is capable of when working together. Ever the optimist. We sure could use him now.
I have new theories when it comes to Ospen, but Vacuo was a target in a Great War of every other kingdom, I feel like. The Schneedust Company and the military did many things. They attacked them in, I don't know, that's just this kingdom. Did we see a representative in any way from Vacuo? Probably yes, but I forgot most likely. I bet it is long ago, and back in the day I didn't really know the names of the kingdoms or didn't really remember them. So now I want to say, because we saw Farnes going there and being welcome, so I don't know if Blake was there. I remember something in a sense where she talked to Ospen and was like, I came from then and there. I needed to learn to fight before, so maybe Vacuo. Maybe she was there. And she talked with Yang. Now I'm not sure. Maybe I'm right with that. So Vacuo is was hit hard and exploited by the Schneedust Company. By that time, I assume the father of Weiss was part of it. Now, like I said, maybe I'm saying all the time the wrong thing, assuming that he married into the family at a later date. So, but it seems like so far he has caused, if my theory is correct, a little bit of this, well, what should I say? caused a little bit of, well, mental. He left people behind, that's what I wanted to say. And here destroyed the lands of Vacuo. Not good. So far he has done 2 terrible things just for profit. So pretty nice guy, I would say. I don't know if I will cut everything together. Now we have everything. Osman is gone. Crow taking his place and narrating World of Remnant. Very nice of him that he does it for us. And yeah, I'm going to end the recording now, or maybe not, depending on whether I cut this together or not, the next 4. But yeah, see you maybe in a minute.